DK Audio presents The Crime Book, read by Jonathan Keeble. Foreword. I owe my career as a writer to crime, in more ways than one. In 1982, soon after my first novel, a spy thriller, had been published, our Brighton home was burgled. A young detective, Mike Harris, came to take fingerprints, saw the book, and told me if I ever needed any research help from Sussex police to give him a call. Mike was married to a detective, Renate, and over the next few years my former wife and I became firm friends with them. Almost all of their circle of friends were also in the police force, in all fields, like response, homicide, traffic, child protection, antiques and fraud. The more I talked to all of them, the more I realized that no one sees more of human life in a 30-year career than a cop. They encounter every single facet of the human condition. All investigated crime involves an inseparable trinity of perpetrator, victim, and police. Even offences that disgust us, such as rape, domestic abuse, theft from charities, preying on the elderly, or child abuse, hold us as much in thrall as other seemingly more glamorous ones. And there are some crimes which captivate us with their sheer verve, where the personality of the villains transcends the ruin, despair, or even death inflicted on their victims. I've long held a sneaking admiration for brilliant conman Victor Lustig, who sold the Eiffel Tower to scrap dealers, and the brazen, skillfully planned but almost Ealing comedy nature of the Hatton Garden jewellery heist. Much in the same way, the 1963 Great Train Robbery captured the nation's attention. It was, at the time, the most audacious and largest robbery ever committed in England. I had lunch with the gang's getaway driver, Roy John James, after his release from prison some years later. He was looking for finance to resume his motor racing career. A charismatic man, he ruefully told me if they had not made the mistake of coshing the train driver, causing him permanent injury, they would all still be considered heroes today. But that, of course, is the problem with true crime. Someone does get hurt. The glamour and vitality of the Bonnie and Clyde story grinds to a brutal and sobering halt in a relentless torrent of bullets. But that doesn't stop our endless fascination with monsters, whether real or fictional, from Jack the Ripper through to fiercely intelligent and charming Ted Bundy, estimated to have raped and killed over 100 young female college students, nor with crime in general. Why are we so fascinated by crime? From both the pages of fictional detective novels, crime dramas and movies, to the utterly addictive murders in our tabloids, broadsheets, and on our television news. I don't believe there is a one-size-fits-all answer, but many. Top of my list is that we are programmed by our genes to try to survive. We can learn a great deal about survival through studying the fates of victims and the makeup of their perpetrators. And there is one aspect of human nature that will never change. I was chatting with former serial bank robber Steve Tully. As a teenager, in prison for his first robbery, Tully met Reggie Cray and persuaded him to let him be his pupil and teach him everything he knew. At 58, broke, Tully is living in a bedsit in Brighton. I asked him what was the largest sum he had ever got away with. He told me it was £50,000 in a bank job. So what did he do with the money? He replied excitedly that he had rented a suite in Brighton's Metropole Hotel and, in his words, larged it for 6 months until it was all gone. I asked Steve if he had the chance to live his life over again, would he have done it differently? Nah, he replied with a gleam in his eyes. I'd do it all again. It's the adrenaline, you see. Peter James, best-selling author of the Roy Grace novels. Introduction. Crimes, the illegal actions that can be prosecuted and are punishable by law, are all around us, from comparatively petty misdemeanors to truly heinous acts of unspeakable evil. The perpetrators of these varied transgressions have long fascinated academics and the wider public, who have sought answers to questions about whether some people are more likely to commit crimes than others, and whether there are certain characteristics unique to criminals. Indeed, the ancient Greeks were fascinated by the science of physiognomy, the study of how certain facial features can reveal something about a person's character or nature. While such a thought now sounds somewhat ridiculous, physiognomy
Sample complete. Ready to continue?